Hi, you're listening to the podcast of MiGiS, Migrant Girls in Sports, Never Behind Again. The project is organized by Europamente, Bulgarian Sports Development Association, and Roes Cooperativa as a synergy supported by the European Union. Hi, hello, my name is Anai. I work for Roes Cooperativa, and we have a lovely special guest with us. So can you share with us your name?
Nini,
And what pronouns do you use, Nini?
she, her,
And where do you live?
in Athens,
How old are you?
24.
Are you from Greece or are you from somewhere else?
I'm from Georgia.
And when did you come to Greece?
10 years ago when I was 14.
I know that you work with a migrant organization, or multiple. So can you share with us a bit about them?
Yes, I work in Greek Forum of Migrants, but I'm also collaborating with other organizations who are related on the migration and refugees.
Nice. How long have you been working with them?
5 years? Yes. Like since I was 18.
I wanted to ask you, because we are here to talk about sports. For those who are listening, I have a whiteboard behind me that says Migrant Girls in Sport, and I showed it. Did the sports play a role in your life when you were in Georgia and growing up?
Yes, I was playing tennis. I was doing professional skiing. And I was also dancing traditional Georgian dances, which the bases are similar with the ballet. So, yeah.
And what happened sports-wise when you moved to Greece?
When I moved to Greece in the beginning, I continued my traditional dances here in Georgian community. But then I went to high school and didn't have time to practice anymore.
How come you continued Georgian dances, but you didn't continue the other sports?
Oh, very good question. Economical issues also. Like the main lead was economical issues, but also the fact that I didn't speak Greek. So I was taking Greek classes and I had to study nonstop in order to follow my classmates at Greek school. So there was no perception or other approach towards me since I didn't talk Greek. So I had to adjust fully to the Greek public educational system.
How was it to be as a teenager? You were a teenager, right?
Yes.
So how was it to be as a teenager in a school? You arrive first day, you don't know anyone, you don't know the language. So how was this first day for you?
Hopefully I had very good relationship with my classmates and I knew English. So it was easier for me to communicate. And also we were teenagers, so we knew some English, basic at least, so we could communicate pretty well and they were helping me. But I couldn't understand anything at classes. And it was actually like I saw it after I went to the university. I realized the impact that it had to me and to my mental health. When I was in Georgia, I was considered as a good student, let's say. And I had my dreams. I wanted to study. It was a typical teenager studying, going to school. And when I came in Greece, I didn't know Greek. Of course, I couldn't understand anything in Greek. And I couldn't follow the lessons at school. And I felt that I was an outsider and I was the worst student, even though like it wasn't about studying, it was that I didn't know the language, but the whole perception of the others, or most of the teachers, they won't support me. So it also was like the attitude that they had that, okay, she's a migrant, she doesn't know Greek, so leave her alone. So it was not either the we will reject you, but oh, you can sit, but we don't take care of you or we don't pay attention to you. And I faced it a lot in university because like it was at university, it was my own perception. And I was thinking and I believed that I was the worst student and I was again outsider, even though I was not. And it took me a lot of years and a lot of therapy to understand from where this idea of myself coming from. Being migrant in Greece, is not only not knowing the language, it's the whole legal procedures that every migrant and refugees have to follow, and it's not friendly at all. So you are, as a migrant, you're facing a lot of situations where you feel outsider. My whole class went to the school trip to Switzerland, and I couldn't go because I didn't have Greek documents. Or more correctly, I had documents, but I wasn't able to travel. And another school trip that I missed was because I had to renew my asylum card, and I was not able to be upset and don't go to my appointment for interview. So I missed this trip also. And it's not just a trip for a teenager, it's a lot more than 5 days trip. Or
So, looking back that time, what do you think you would need from an instructor there to 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 do or to handle this situation so you could be actively included in what's happening?
I think more inclusive environment in school. And it wasn't only towards me as a migrant. Generally, I have seen in Greek schools that it's not inclusive, especially when a student is a member of any vulnerable community. So I think the more friendly approach and more I'm here to support you and I do understand. It doesn't matter if you're a migrant, refugee, or just a local, normal teenager without having any social difficulties or being a member of any vulnerable community. Teachers should have this attitude towards them.
Mm-hmm. What happened? No, sorry. I want to take you back in this kind of like situation where you are actively excluded in school, which is kind of like the main area of socializing with local Greeks. How did the situation change when you were getting the world outside and getting into Georgian classes for dance?
Indeed, I was included there, but still there was huge age gap. And also I was doing professional Georgian dances in Georgia. So I was dancing for 8 years and I was participating in the festival. So the level that I had and that I used to be, it wasn't the same. Something that it's not bad, but I felt still that I wasn't belonging there. The classes that I have back in Georgia was for for kids who want to be professional dancers. So everything was very different. Of course, like it's different for doing something as a hobby and something as to take something to more professional level. So there was indeed some gaps between them and some differences. But I felt more comfortable indeed, and I was more able to talk and communicate with people when I was in Georgian dance classes.
Did you notice any particular, let's say, positive impact in you being in another country but still going and having this touch with Georgian dances?
Yes, but again, like in my case, it was like it took me more than 6 months to realize that I'm not here for holidays. Like it was clearly psychological moment. I knew that my whole family moved to Greece and I knew that we were not here for holidays. But it took me like 6 months, more or less, to realize that I'm living here. And also there was of the hopes that we had for my Greek documents to be finalized so I could go back to Georgia just for holidays. And the very bad thing is giving hope to people when you know that there is no chance for them to get documents in 6 months. So for 2 or 3 years, I remember, every summer I was like, they were telling us that, okay, like a new year, you can go like for Christmas and New Year, you will have your Greek document so you can go back. So from summer till December, I was just like, okay, like Now I will take my Greek documents and I will go back to Georgia for holidays and I will see my friends. And then December will come and nothing will change. And then we will go from December to summer again. And it happened like 3 years nonstop. So all this time, and especially first year, I was just like, okay, like be patient. In 3 months, you will have your documents so you can go back to your country. And it didn't happen. So it also played a role, I think, because I had this in my mind that in 3 months I will be able to go back to Georgia to see my friends, to see my family, my city, my home, and then I will come back. In my mind, because someone was telling me that in 3 or 4 months you will be able to go back. So I was just like, okay, take it easy. It's just the holidays. So it took me some time to realize that I moved actually in Greece, and it took me some time to realize that my documentation process would take more time than people were telling me. Nowadays, I don't dance anymore, but there are Georgian communities that they are doing classes and they are also having concerts and festivals. And now I feel the emotional connection, seeing other teenagers dancing or listening to Georgian music. Now I can feel that it's so cool. The thing is that I learned Greek better than my parents, and then I was also translator, I was also the lawyer, I was also the doctor. So for a very, very long time, I was in the mood of survival. So I was running, like I was pushing myself, even though there was no need for me to run and having this crazy lifestyle of working a lot of hours, studying a lot, not allowing myself to relax. Then you are disconnected to the things that you like, that you enjoy. And sometimes you're feeling bad also if you will spend some time and even some money maybe to something that you like it. You're learning that way, and it is hard to unlearn some behavior. It is manageable, but it takes a lot of time. And the first thing is to accept and realize that you are in the survival mode and there is no need anymore. I was 14. And at some point, because I didn't know Greek and all of my friends were in Georgia, even though we were talking every day, sometimes they came for holidays here, but it's not the same. Like having your best friend for a week and then whole year not seeing anyone in your age, it's not very helpful. And even though I was going to school, also it was the language barrier, and also it was I wasn't also very open to meet new people. But it was not just my fault, it was the whole situation. I ended up for some period of time to hanging out with my mother and her friends. And after a year in Greece, I started to actually, like, I wanted to make friends and I was ready to open up and not be so close to myself. And then I started to hang out with my classmates, and then I started to have more social life.
What do you think would support you in this situation from maybe the people who are controlling the environment, let's say in class? Is there anything they could do?
In my opinion, very good approach to this, like very good technique, is group projects. So it's super easy to be organized by a teacher. And it also not only the outsider or new student, but with this way, they can connect the whole class together. And it will be maybe for me much easier to open up to people and not to think that I am different or we are very different from each other or I'm something strange in the class. So yeah, this could be like super easy approach and solution to some issues that students in school may experience.
Did you have like other migrant classmates?
No. I had, but they were second or third generation of migrants. So it at least for the language barrier, it was not the same. And also, when I went to junior high school, like my whole class, they knew each other since primary school. So it was different. It was not like new class, everyone is new. They knew each other since they were super young. So, yeah.
Was there anyone from Georgia with descending from Georgia? Or
Not in junior high school. There was one guy from high school, and he was taking care of me, and he was coming to during the breaks. I couldn't go to their area, so he was coming to high school to talk with me and to not be alone during the breaks, especially like the first year. He supported me a lot. Like, we're still in touch. It was very helpful for me to have someone from my country, so speaking to my language mostly. But then there was another pattern that I observed is when he was not coming at school, I didn't want to go. So if I knew that he wouldn't come, I wasn't feeling very comfortable going by myself. So I remember that sometimes I also skipped the school, especially like during the first semester of my studies. Then I slowly get used to it because he was also in high school, like last year of high school, so I knew that he would graduate. And then I remember that I was super anxious about it because I was just like, oh my God, I'll stay by myself and what I can do. And I was very stressed about it.
after having your dancer dreams crushed, what did you end up studying in university?
When I was in Georgia, I wanted to study at some point biology because I liked it at all. Then I moved to Greece, so I didn't understand anything. And I was like, okay, maybe I can't study biology anymore. I always wanted to do something on human rights since I was 9 or 10. I remember that I was watching a TV and there was a show about vulnerable communities, and they were also talking about gender-based violence. And I thought that if I would study something related to the social work or something to the area, I could have a license. So I will just go to the abusive husband or generally partner, and I'm just like, I have this document, so you have to stop it, you're coming with me. Or I wanted to go to save some children from abusive environment, and again, like I was just like, I will have this document. I don't know, I just like, hey, it's Nini. You have to stop abuse people. And also I remember that I was 6 or 7 when people started to talk about LGBTQI plus community in Georgia, and I was shocked. Like, I mean, people were talking about it at school, like students, and we didn't know anything about, like, who are they? And then it was like some debates, and we were doing debates in primary school, and it was super funny. Like, we were 2nd grade of primary school and we were having debate about different social topics, and I was very into it, like fighting with people and defending like human rights. And I knew that I would go to this way at some point, but when I was Georgia, of course, like I was also younger and I didn't have my target group. Like, I just wanted to have this license so I could stop everyone for doing something bad to another person. And then I moved to Greece and I saw the life of migrants and how it is to be a migrant. And by my life experience and what I have seen and what I've been through, I decided that it will be, and I felt that I could give something to migrants, to my community back. This is how I ended up in Greek Forum of Migrants. So, yeah. And I decided to study psychology. I was between law or international studies, and I ended up in psychology because I think that I like more humanistic approach, and now I'm studying psychology.
You work with migrant girls and women like in your job?
Yes. We are working general with migrant and refugee population, and of course we do have girls and women who are with migration or refugee background. So I have a lot of women who are texting me or calling me when they need any kind of support, either legal support or psychological support, so they know that I can refer them to any other organization. I mean, I felt a lot of feelings and emotions when we were giving food. So we had food distribution and forum, and I saw a lot of young kids coming with their parents and they were translating. And I saw myself in them and I was just like, okay. And now I was on the side of supporter of, like someone giving something. I was kind of sad to see kids translating to us what their parents wanted. But I feel very proud and very happy when they were asking like, oh, you're Greek, right? And I'm just like, no, I'm not Greek. I'm Georgian. And when I moved to Greece, I didn't know Greek. And I was like you translating for my parents. And they were just like, oh my God. And yeah, she learned Greek and she's working in Greece. Oh my God. Like she's giving help. She's providing something to others. So, and they were just like, I can also do it. And I was just like, yeah, of course you can also do it. And it was very happy that they were coming and they were helping us. Like they were helping to package the food or anything. So it was super cute.
Now that you are on the other side, let's say, in the field, how do you make an environment more inclusive?
The first thing that I do, because being migrant doesn't mean that we all share same life or same stories or same cultures. So the thing that I do is, first of all, I don't make them feel that I'm above them. And I'm not shocked when they are telling me something from their culture, or even it may be abusive behavior that most of the women experienced. So I don't make this expression of, oh my God, it's like, oh, wow, it happened only to you. Unfortunately, no. I'm trying also to communicate with them, even though I don't speak their language and they don't speak my language and they don't speak Greek. So um, you just have to treat them. You just have to behave as you will behave with any other human being, without speaking. Like I have seen a lot of times that people tend to explain same thing over and over again, and they are trying to talk like a babies in order to explain something to a migrant. And no, no.
What mediums do you use to communicate if you don't have a shared speaking language?
If we don't have translator, and most of the times we don't, I mean, we do during some services that we are having, but if they are coming randomly to our office, we don't have a lot of translators. And like body language also helps, some keywords that they know, even from English. And we are using either translation apps, or I'm just calling a friend of mine who speaks the language that they do, so we can communicate that way. But I'm not rejecting them. I'm not just like, oh, we don't have translators, so come that day, that time where we could communicate.
To the people out there who are listening to this interview, what would you say to them on how they can support migrant girls, especially?
We are not as different as we think that we are. And if someone is born and raised in the same country where they're living currently, it doesn't make them more privileged. or it shouldn't make them more privileged. And also, migration is a living process, let's say. So if someone is not migrant today, it doesn't mean that they will not be migrants tomorrow. Everything can happen to anybody.
And what would you say to other migrant girls who might listen to this?
Fight.
Fight for what and who?
Fight for your rights and fight for yourself, actually. And it doesn't, when I'm saying fight, doesn't mean that we all have to go to the extreme behavior, but take care of yourself, acknowledge of yourself, and remember that you deserve everything you want to do or have in your life. There will be a lot of difficulties, a lot of barriers, a lot of things that will try to stop you, but you can do anything you want.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Nini,
you.
for sharing your story with us and for being vulnerable for the world to see, and hopefully we inspire some people out there. And migrant girls can have a better life from this point on. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
see you next time.